Welcome to this month's edition of Outlook Video, your nationally recognized, award-winning show for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered communities. I'm Roberta Gonzales-Gregg.
And I'm Tom Smith. And this month's show, Roberta will be interviewing Tom Horn. Tom is a publisher of the San Francisco Bay Area Reporter, also known as The Bar.
Tom became president and CEO of The Bar this past April, though previously a lawyer and member of New Mexico, California, and U.S. Supreme Court Bar. Now, this is a bar we can all enjoy without breaking the law.
That's very good.
We'll find out more about Mr. Horn in just a few minutes. Raymond Donald Hong will be bringing us the second part of his coverage of the Stockholm Gay Pride celebrations.
That sounds great. David Nahmod will be interviewing Joel Springer. Joel is the openly gay candidate for the San Francisco School District.
Aaron Bruno will be showing us the latest in-guise gay wedding fashions presented at the Magnet Community Center in the Castro.
Let's begin this month's show with Roberta's interview with Tom Horn. It'll be great.
Welcome to this segment of Outlook Video, where we honor the diversity of people in our community, people like us. In tonight's segment, we're joined in the studio with Tom Horn, the new president and CEO of the Bay Area Reporter. The Bay Area Reporter, or simply the BAR, as its acronym is affectionately known, is San Francisco's longest-running lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community newspaper. Published weekly since 1971, it provides our community with local and national news, community resource listings, as well as arts and entertainment. Join us as Tom Horn describes the distribution of the Bay Area Reporter and get a petite profile of its new president and CEO.
Well, we cover the entire 9-county Bay Area and we're the oldest continuing publishing newspaper for the gay and lesbian community, I think, in the world. It's founded by Bob Ross in 1971 and has published weekly since then.
Now, how did you start off with the Bay Area Reporter?
Well, I was the general counsel. I was the attorney for the paper
in your lawyer
and
years.
for Bob.
Yes.
For many years.
Okay.
And became very involved with how the paper worked and how it functioned.
And you were telling me earlier that that Bob had a good paper and a good team together. Do you see any changes in that happening with the paper now?
The team that he put together is an excellent staff, both administratively and editorially, and hopefully I'll be smart enough not to fix something that isn't broke.
But you said that now the paper will be a little bit more political. Is that right?
Well, I think the paper's always been political. No,
good.
I think it'll continue editorially like it has.
But you have something new coming up with a website, yes?
Well, we're going to go online. That
right.
was one aspect that we didn't have, and so we're working very hard now to put together a website that will do the paper justice and will do the region from which we come, the San Francisco Bay Area justice. I hope that will be up shortly.
Something else that you have been telling me about is your connection with the San Francisco Alliance of Français of San Francisco. You can say it about far better than I.
The Alliance Française.
There you go.
Well, my passion personally is France and things French. And my worst grades in college were in language. I studied Spanish and didn't do very well, so when I turned 40, I decided I was going to go back to school and learn French, and did, and have become very active in the French community.
And this group promotes the French culture and French language, as you were telling me.
The Alliance Française is a nonprofit organization for the promotion of French language and culture. And our Alliance Française in San Francisco was founded in 1889, I believe. It's the oldest in the United States. We have a language school. We teach about 2,000 students a year. We have 25 teachers on staff. We have a 20,000 volume library, mediatheque with computers and internet access, and a video library.
Wow.
We have a theater that seats about 100 people where we can give conferences and lectures and small performances.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show. You have shown really the diversity of their activities in our community. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Roberta.
And we look forward to the more really good coverage on NBR, as well as some of your other activities. For our viewers who are interested in that website. You look to your screen right now. There shows their upcoming URL address. Thanks again for being on our show.
Thank you, Roberta.
Hi, tonight we're going to meet a new player in the San Francisco political arena. Welcome, Mr. Joel Springer.
Thank you, sir.
You are running for?
The Board of Education of San Francisco.
What qualifies you, in your opinion, to be a member of the school board?
I am a credentialed teacher. I taught in the San Francisco Unified School District back in the 70s for 7 years. I've been an educator most of my life in one form or another, teaching in-house courses on financial management and fiduciary responsibility. I've served on a number of boards and commissions in volunteer capacities, including as the treasurer of a local synagogue.
What inspired you to make the jump from your current career into local politics?
I am a native San Franciscan. I attended neighborhood schools in San Francisco. I've been a long-time observer of the political process in San Francisco. When you see that some of those who are indeed running and getting elected, I feel that I have much to contribute from education and experience I think I could do things better.
What is being done that you think is wrong?
The school board, for example, which is one of the reasons that prompted me to run, is terribly fractious. Many people are involved in seeking political opportunities, score political points against the superintendent, which takes their focus away from the true prize, which is quality education.
They're really not concerned with the well-being of the children.
There are some on the school board, I believe, are that way. They would deny that, I'm sure. They're terribly sincere. I'm not taking that from them. But in the effect of their positions and how they act on the board, that's the effect.
What would your agenda be for the San Francisco students?
I am a believer in neighborhood schools to the extent that they are a cornerstone of the system. That both East Side schools and West Side schools must be made of such quality that parents will want to send their children to the neighborhoods in which they moved to the quality schools that they're seeking. Even though neighborhood schools are a cornerstone, I am open and strongly endorse the idea of having a variety of schools for our unique students and their needs, so that there will be alternative schools, vocational technical schools, charter schools, and so forth.
Now, when you say alternative schools, might we include gay students in that?
Absolutely.
What kind of programs would you offer to gay and lesbian students? I mean, kids are coming out at pretty young ages these days.
For the students of the district, regardless of their orientation, they should have the opportunities to be comfortable with how they're coming out. All schools should include courses as part of other courses, teaching units, for example, on tolerance, understanding of a variety of people. There's a particular problem in the district right now of sexual harassment, both of straight students and gay and transgender students and lesbian students. That needs to be a stop needs to be put to that, for which I would advocate a zero tolerance policy.
Right. You yourself are a gay man?
I am indeed.
So you would understand the needs of gay students?
Definitely.
And what kind of punishment would you offer to students who indulge in bullying and sexual harassment?
I would say the first step would be, depends on the level of violence involved. If it was a verbal kind of attack, certainly suspension for a period of time.
Good.
Bringing the parents in the first time, and getting the parents involved in the process. Because let's face it, the old song in South Pacific says we have to be taught to hate.
That's true.
And that indeed that's where kids get their attitudes and their feelings. Certainly the Gwen Arahu case is
right.
Those gentlemen were
I don't know if I'd call them gentlemen.
Well,
right. I know what
those
you mean.
individuals.
I know what you mean. What could be done to make a gay student or a lesbian student or a trans student feel safe and comfortable enough to stand up in a classroom and say, I'm gay?
Most teachers, certainly in San Francisco, would be open to that and would hopefully have the necessary training to explain to the rest of the class about what was going on. I say hopefully. most teachers, and I am a credentialed teacher, and the education hasn't changed that much, are not trained in recognizing students at risk. They're not trained in understanding psychology or in dealing with psychological incidents that might come up, even with the students who would be reacting against.
So you would advocate training for the teachers?
Absolutely, absolutely, retraining if necessary. There's also a program that I've been involved with called the Masonic Student Assistance Program, which has actually been underutilized in San Francisco. It's a free program, and it's offered by the Masonic fraternity, training teachers and administrators in recognizing kids at risk to help fill in that gap. And I would like to see more of that used in San Francisco.
Okay, when is Election Day?
November 2nd.
November 2nd. So vote against President Bush and for Joel Springer.
That's a good way of putting it, David.
Vote for John Kerry and Joel Springer for school board, John Kerry for president, and you have some contact info?
SpringerForSchoolBoard.com.
Thank you, Mr. Springer.
Thank you, David.